Hello, hello. Let's do that button up. Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm wearing my hat as my shield. How are things, guys? Good morning. Good morning. It's Good Friday. It's Good Friday. I just as a sidebar, I can't get over this story of this 12-year-old boy arrested for murder. It's just, what the hell is going on in Sheffield? Don't know if you've seen this story. It's just awful. How are we all? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry, let me just getting things up here. Oh, I've got you on both screens. Jew Osler, you don't like hot cross buns. Fair dues. Weird though, I love a soggy hot cross bun. I love a soggy hot cross bun. Happy Hot Cross Bun Day, Mark. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It was Maundy Thursday yesterday. It's an odd day, isn't it? Tony Marie Cleveland, I love hot cross buns so much. Do you like all these kind of variants on a hot cross bun? Do you like them? They sort of introduce... I tell you the part of a hot cross bun I don't like, traditionally, is the dried fruit. Who invented that? I mean, I like lots of dry fruit. What are the bits? They're like bits of lime or lemon or something awful. Shelley Joe, I had hot cross buns at 3 a.m. Wow. Nora Doyle, good morning. Jay Jabritnit, good morning. Looking forward to Jamaican bun and cheese later. What's that? That sounds great. I like a cheese scone. I don't know if I'd like a cheese hot cross bun. Don't like raisins or sultanas. I don't understand how you can not like a raisin or a sultana. It's like a jewel of sweetness. It's like a controlled explosion of sweet juice. Rosie C, the lemon peel bits. Is that what they are? Lemon peel bits? It's horrible. It's like, I don't like marmalade. My nan loved marmalade. Why would you want to eat the skin of an orange? I love the chocolate hot cross buns. Hope you had a good birthday, Anna Charalumbus. Bun and cheese, Tony Marie Cleveland. Look at you lot. Cool, you're kicking off big time, aren't you? Hot cross bun chat. We did the Easter eggs yesterday, but of course, hot cross buns. Candied peel. It's like I can't stand... what's the bloody stuff? Marzipan. Lucy Williams, I know it's weird, but I like grated cheese inside my hot cross bun with sliced cucumber. What? That's a weird one. Moobell 2802, and we're delighted that you've made a live too. Now, obviously, the Curly Cooks will be landing tomorrow. It's Easter weekend, so it's a pre-record. The No Name Sunday show will be landing on Sunday. Attentive observers will notice that I didn't upload Nadia and Dina's Lidl. Just one sec. I didn't upload their film to the members area. I thought I'd save it for the Sunday show. It's nicely embedded in the programme. Steph Schultz, you've got bad tonsils. I can't enjoy anything at the moment, not even chocolate. It's not good, is it? Hi, April Hill. Hi, Steph Schultz. So yes, it's Good Friday. And so, yes, so what was I saying? So yes, tomorrow, Curly Cooks, we will still be doing the Saturday papers. Nanny Di is heading over, so there may well be a members live at some point soonish. There is a Crete vlog coming. Gardening is happening. It's obviously Film Friday, so we might be seeing Air at some point over the weekend. We might be seeing other films too. Lots of people going to see Mario Brothers. Anyone a Mario Brothers fan? It doesn't do it for me. Plotting a glorious fry-up. Easter treat, Sadie C. May Edmondson, I don't know why I'm so tired these days. Excuse me. what happens here is Toffee, since Chi-Chi's come back from her holidays, has become a psychopath. Is about the only way I can describe her. A proper psychopath. What she did there was she barked for me to let her out, which she knew would spike Chi-Chi's interest in going out, which means that Chi-Chi, because she's a bit dopey, would leave behind the third of an esophagus that they're both currently kind of negotiating. They had one each, but it's now become, what's remaining has become a bone of contention, quite literally almost. And so Toffee led her out to come back in and reclaim. It's layered. There's all sorts of layered stuff going on there. Morning, May Edmondson. Drew Osler, have you had your thyroid checked? Dogs are so intelligent, Gabriel. They're so manipulative. And also the other thing they do now is whenever anyone, we had a friend round this week, and we've had a couple of friends around this week, whenever someone comes through the door, they become incredibly annoying, barking, whining, growling, climbing up on people's legs, because they know that we've got to a point now where we despair. And so in order to calm them down, they'll either get a bone or a treat or something like that. Chi-Chi knows when we're shooting live or not live food. She sees the cameras come out and she immediately starts to nag. That's because we've done on a lot of the lives, the who let the dogs out in the members area and we give them treats. They're just shocking. The other day we were trying to find our Apple remote and it was in Toffee's bed. She'd obviously been watching telly at night. Good ship lollipop, I find dogs annoying. They look, it's like any good relationship. They can be annoying. And Toffee's become very annoying since Chi-Chi's come back. Good morning, Elliot. How are you, dear friend? Hope you're well. I hope you're heading into a, not necessarily fun-packed, I fucking hate fun, but I hope you're heading into a nice relaxing Easter weekend. Nora Doyle, they are cute. She wanted to watch movies, Emma Walsh, absolutely. She flicked on Hey You and started watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or something like that. The pups don't like, I tell you what, we really wanted to do, there's a genre called docu-soaps, where you follow, I mean, The Only Way is Essex. It's kind of like a docu-soap, but it's more structured. Made in Chelsea, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do something like that, but calling it a dog-you-soap, where you follow a group of dogs at their level and their personalities and them trotting around, but you voice them. I think it could be fun. I think it could be a winner. Catherine Jones, I love your dogs. They have great personalities. Do you want them for a bit? They are much better individually. Toffee just can't cope with the sibling rivalry. Yeah, people divide up, don't they, into cat people or dog people. Sorry for the random question. How do I listen to iTunes songs to continue to the next song? Haven't got a clue. We're Spotified up here. I find iTunes are not, well, I find all that digital stuff really annoying. Anyway. So yes, there's this awful story of this Sheffield murder arrest of boy 12 after a woman hit by car, but he was also found to be holding a blade. He was in possession of a blade. I didn't know you could arrest 12-year-olds. I thought you could only take them into sort of, I don't know, some kind of custody, but I didn't know you had to arrest them. This happened in, obviously, Sheffield. They're still trying to piece together what happened, but it's shocking. I mean, I'm wondering whether just his set of circumstances was so weird that this awfulness has happened, and it's not an indication that younger and younger people are just becoming more and more barbaric. Oh, age of responsibility is 10. Wow. In America, lots of kids, toddlers, accidentally, maybe on purpose sometimes, shoot their parents or shoot people they know. There's a larger number of gun injuries and fatalities in America at the hands of toddlers. Often guns are found in cars, they think they're toys, etc., etc. In other headlines, obviously, we've got the ubiquitous, if I see another shot of traffic on the road. Here's a question. Why do people get on the road when they know every year this happens? We've fallen foul of it. everyone thinks they're the first to think, let's go at 6 a.m. But everyone else has thought, there's not an original thought here in terms of an escape, is there? I think your best bet is to sit pretty and do something locally. Not even a staycation, because a lot of these people are going to other parts of the country, but every year it happens, like lemmings to the slaughter. Passengers stuck in traffic for up to 16 hours. How is that fun? That's a quarter of your weekend, almost. A quarter. Obviously, a lot of this is the Port of Dover, but it's got nothing to do with Brexit. Absolutely nothing to do with Brexit. You know what? I'd be more tolerant of I'd be more tolerant of Brexiteers if they acknowledge it. You can't pretend Brexit's not impacted anything. I mean, surely. You just can't. Anyway, so just photos. I'm sure when we do the Saturday papers tomorrow, it'll just be photos of bumper-to-bumper traffic. A few little vox pops with people who are like, oh, I've been here 18 days. You know, my heart goes out to everyone, but yeah. What else is just, you know, in terms of other big news, Israel has fired back at targets in Lebanon. They were attacked last night, or bombs came into Israel from Lebanon. John Lydon, this is sad, of the Sex Pistols, announced the death of his wife at 80. He's been in the press a lot recently talking about, I think she had Alzheimer's, or he was having to sort of full-time care for her. Yeah, she lived with Alzheimer's for several years. And I know he talked about how his sole purpose was to care for her. And albeit that he's kind of a live wire, you know, the Sex Pistols were all about punk and anti-establishment and kind of breaking the rules and sticking your fingers up at everyone and everything. But this is just a reminder that everyone gets hit by these tragic moments. They've been together for 45 years. 45 years, poor old John Lydon, eh? And I know that he did talk about how once she's gone, he would struggle to kind of see the point. So, you know, hearts go out to him. That's a long time, isn't it? 45 years. And also, you know, for such a rock and roll nut job. So yeah, that's John Lydon. So these are just some of the stories just sort of popping around in the news today. But anyway, one of the big news stories today, and I wanted to ask your opinion on this. King Charles, it's still weird saying that. King Charles is supporting a study at Manchester University, I believe, into slavery links with the royal family. He has agreed to researchers, literally allowing them in to look at the royal family's archives from the 17th and 18th century. He is keen for them to do a roots and branch, is that right? Exploration of what's been, you know, what their connection with slavery has been over the years. Now, of course, this all will tie up with the Commonwealth too, won't it? Because the roots and the origins of the Commonwealth were often based in slavery and subjugating local people and all that kind of stuff. The reason I pulled this up is that there's obviously going to be connections. Prince William, obviously, famously, was it last year or the year before, talked about how slavery should never have happened and it sort of stains our history. But he got a lot of abuse in Jamaica. I don't know why. I think perhaps for trying to feel like he'd summed it up in just that. So what I want to ask you is King Charles sanctioning what will be, I'd imagine, a deeply uncomfortable research project that will throw up an enormous amount of culpability and involvement with the slave trade? Is this sort of the royal family going to some lengths to actually, you know, how much can you do to atone for, you know, historical wrongs? Is something, is King Charles' willingness to open up re-slavery a good thing for the monarchy's reputation? Does this potentially go some way to not rectify, you can't rectify, Or does it have to go further? Does there have to be some kind of reparations, do you think? And in terms of reparations, how would reparations work? I mean, I think that in many regards there should be, but how would they work? How do you feel about this, guys? Janine Amory, respect to King Charles. Absolutely. Steph Schultz, didn't he say he feels personal sorrow, whole history, lot to have on his shoulders? Yeah, I mean, he has. I think what everyone thinks of King Charles, he feels the burden of things, you know, whether it be environmental issues, whether it be this. I think this is as best as they can do. And I think the fact that he's allowing them in without sort of fettering or clipping their wings is important. I saw a little side swipe there. Maybe he needs to start with his daughter-in-law and mend fences there, Emma Walsh. Interesting. You feel that's part of the... You think that... I mean, maybe from his perspective, it isn't anything to do with race. I mean, the press, I've talked a lot about how I think there has been insidious racism. Maybe he just doesn't like her. I mean, you can not like someone and it not be racist, for sure. Do you know what I mean? You can find someone intolerable and, you know, it's not necessarily racist. Elaine Janolfi, just to acknowledge it as a step in the right direction, nothing can change history. He also says it's absolutely right and proper that any countries in the Commonwealth should be entitled to detach from the UK's kind of, you know, pull themselves out of the UK's shadow. Jew Osler, King Charles III is really interested in different things when he meets the public. Tony Marie Cleveland, I think it's bloody hard being born into this royal family. No thank you, feel blessed to be in a normal family. Jill Lister, they get on really well apparently, Charles and Meghan. Yeah, see, there you go. Maybe his bigger problem is with his son. And if he does have a problem with his son, you know, it's quite normal. Happens in lots of families. There's good and bad in all nationalities and races, absolutely. According to Spare, says Jill Lister, that he gets on with Meghan. Anne Murray, they'll not have a crown between them if they have to give things back. Interesting, interesting. Do you think all the jewels and all the spoils of the crown jewels should be returned? Do you think that would be part of it? I mean, the slight issue with that is who will they be returned to? You know, will it be in a paper bag around the back of Asda's? There you go, take it back. I mean, do you know what I mean? I mean, are these things, are they so historical that in a sense the fact that they were taken from these countries is part of their history? It's like the Elgin marbles, isn't it? Should they go back to Greece and all that sort of stuff? Anyway, so I think there's a step further that can happen, but him allowing this to happen, I think, is a step in the right direction. I do think it's a good thing. What do you think? Let's have a look at the poll. 3/4 of you think that Charles's willingness to open up re-slavery is a good thing for the monarchy's reputation. Well, there you go. That's clear. I have to confess, I think that was quite a good, well-structured question for a change. I'm crap with them normally. Oh, fantastic. Hashtag fuck off Good Friday. Good first step to modernising royal family, says Agatha. That's a nice, good, solid point to end on there. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. The other story in the press today is an advert that the Labour Party have put on Twitter in which they say, where's the, I'll try to get in it. Yeah, so there's an advert on Twitter. Let me just pull it up. Hate Twitter, hate it. It's just everything about it is just unusable. It's like Facebook. So there's a photograph, if you haven't seen it, there's a photograph of Rishi Sunak on the left. And on the right, there's this text. Do you think adults convicted of sexually assaulting children should go to prison? I mean, that's a very powerful and obvious question. Yes, screams the nation, of course. And then it puts in sort of a sort of turquoise box underneath it. Rishi Sunak doesn't. And then it has, under the Tories, 4,500 adults convicted of sexually assaulting children under 16 served no prison time. Labour will lock up dangerous child abusers. Now, whatever you think of Rishi, this has generated a storm in Westminster where politicians of all persuasions, including John McDonnell, who was the former Shadow Chancellor, wasn't he, have come out saying this is a low blow. This is a low blow. So I want, having read that out to you, is this advert by Labour about Sunak and child assault a low blow that should be apologised for? Now, that statistic is correct. No one's in doubt that that statistic is diabolical. But laying it at the feet of one man, I think gutter politics is a phrase that's being used by quite a few people. Now, the Labour Party have doubled down on this, despite members of the Conservative Party describing it as vile and desperate, cheapening and debasing politics. Even the SNP said exactly the same. Labour shared this because they're wanting to make themselves look like the party of law and order. RM's Jams, Labour always is a low blow. Even Labour, as I say, Labour backbencher, former Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell, this is not the sort of politics a Labour Party confident of its values should partake in. I say to the people who've taken the decision to publish this, please withdraw it. And then a Tory source said that when Keir Starmer was head of public prosecutions, that his record in terms of convicting child pornographers, for example, was diabolical. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, guys? What do you think? Let's have a look. Okay, well, quite a few of you don't think it's a low blow. You see, even though that's the facts, is this not something he's inherited? This awful fact and statistics? Is this an aspect of the legal hurdles and difficulties that, prosecutions face? I mean, in a weird way, could you sit this at the door of Keir Starmer or whoever now does Keir Starmer's job rather than at the door of Rishi Sunak? I mean, is Rishi Sunak responsible for everything that's wrong in the country? Let's have a look. Maybe, Dawn Decker, maybe they should have addressed the court system, which is overwhelmed. It doesn't address the problem, and it's lazy shock politics. Jennifer Winter, convictions of sexual crimes are at an all-time low. Who's been in government for over a decade? I don't think it's a low blow if it's true. Interesting point. I mean, yeah, they've been in for quite a long time. Anne Murray, will there be a policeman left to arrest them? Amy May, it's not a low blow if it's true. Ellery Jones, thank God I don't vote for either. Used to vote Labour when I turned 18, but over 15 years ago I realised they were all crap. Catherine Jones, depends who you support, I think. The man hasn't a clue about real life. Yeah, I mean, I suppose what I think is, he will not have sat down and written a sort of declaration that sexual assault, suspects should be allowed off. I mean, he won't, I mean, if he was presented with that as a statement of fact, he'd be like, no, of course not, that's awful. So I think it's less whether this is the case and it needs to be pulled up, absolutely, but targeting just Rishi as an apologist for paedophiles? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Let's have a look, what do you think? Is this a low blow? 2/3 of you say yes, it's a low blow. Yeah, I personally think it is. I think, yeah, tackle the situation, flag up the situation, say, after 13 years of Conservative rule, this is the situation, and then have something sensationalist, because that's all they do. I think targeting one person, whoever they are, and whatever you think of them, isn't a good thing. Right, the other story I wanted to talk about is Nike have angered a lot of people, including, quite bizarrely, I suppose, Caitlyn Jenner, regarding a trans a trans model or transgender influencer, Dylan Mulvaney, transitioning from male to female, still in the process of transitioning. And the reason Nike have sparked fury is because they've used her to promote sports bras and women's leggings. This is a tricky one, I think, because a lot of people online are sort of saying this is yet again women being marginalized, nudged out, hidden, almost kind of denied and all that kind of stuff. But Nike obviously are arguing that this is an inclusive campaign. Mulvaney hasn't yet had gender reassignment surgery and is currently on hormones. There are a lot of people saying almost physically, quite literally physically, she is perhaps not the best person to advertise or promote sports bras. Obviously, this is a hot potato because this kind of once again just throws another wedge, in a sense, between what some would consider the wokerati and others feel, is all about inclusivity. So many observers have taken to social media and sort of expressed puzzlement and confusion as to who the sports bras, etc., are aimed at. But curiously, I thought this was interesting. Caitlyn Jenner, who obviously transitioned to being a woman, is anti this too. She feels that this is wrong, and she actually messaged or put on social media something, equality, inclusivity, stop trying to erase women. It's interesting, isn't it? Why is it so black and white with the radical rainbow mafia? So Caitlyn Jenner has ripped into Nike over the transgender sports bra situation, calling it an outrage. What do you think? What's your opinion on this? Is Nike wrong to use a trans woman to promote sports bras? I mean, the simple argument back is sports bras are for all women, regardless of regardless of whether they're trans women or whatever. If you have breasts or you are developing breasts, or hormonally you are getting breasts in your process of transitioning, then surely you're one aspect of women. I suppose the contrary argument to that is the vast majority of people who would use a sports bra are women. What do you think? Tony Marie Cleveland, the whole thing around sports, gender and trans is a very difficult subject. It is. And I think Caitlyn Jenner, obviously a former kind of Olympic medalist, sports person, it feels very strongly about the fact that there shouldn't be trans sports people within sort of, if you like, single identifiably sexed events. Mae Edmondson, I think it's tricky, as would people complain if it was someone assigned female at birth who had transitioned to male and still had periods? Steph Schultz, depends if you need a sports bra. I mean, in a weird way, it just depends if you need a sports bra, and it shouldn't matter who it is. And to say that, is to say that being woke? I don't know, I don't think it is. What else are you saying? Raspberry Mojito Girl, he's a bloke getting attention seeker, needs help, cannot stand him, Dylan. I've not heard of Dylan, obviously an influencer. Lynn Dalgetu, we have to protect biological women along with supporting trans women. Caitlyn Jenner, a gold medal Olympian, as Bruce supports women's sport. They had lots of amazing female athletes. Drew Osler, men should feel free to wear women's clothes, in my opinion. Jess Foster, of all those incredible sportswomen at the top of their game, not getting offered sponsorships, and they hand it over to a non-athletic transgender person. Good point. I mean, in many regards, she's not an athlete in the true sense of the word. They've gone for an influencer. That's a curious one, isn't it? I think that's almost perhaps more of a kind of contentious issue than gender. Gloria Chesham moves. Oceanic Therapy London, trans advertising women's leggings. That's okay, Andrea Crash, back of the class again. The rainbow community are louder, that's all. Most of us think they're ludicrous, says Good Ship Lollipop. It's tricky, Steph Schultz. Depends if you need a sports bra. Yeah, I know what you mean. Is there a quiz today? Drew Osler, there is a quiz today, but I'm noticing Faith Goodman is it. Also, where's MeTube? Haven't seen MeTube for a while. If you see this, MeTube, I hope you're well. Drop us a line. I hope you're okay. So yeah, that's Nike angering feminists. And obviously, you know, this kind of feeds into the whole idea that women's space, the protected space of women, or, you know, just the identification of women is being eroded to some degree by inclusivity. I mean, my take on all of this is, I think there's going to be this is like turbulence, isn't it, in sort of gender politics. And I think at some point it will settle into a sort of more balanced scenario. I wanted to just briefly mention Jeremy Renner, because he was in an interview with ABC's Diane Sawyer. Obviously, he underwent this horrendous accident with a snowplow. Jeremy Renner, actor, American actor, one of the plays Hawkeye in the Avengers. He's a big name. But I just wanted to share with you the list of injuries he received. I mean, he's like a superhero to have survived this. He experienced, or he had inflicted on him, snowplow turned over, crushed him, should have died. 8 ribs broken in 14 places, right knee and right ankle broken, left leg tibia broken, left ankle broken, right clavicle broken, right shoulder broken, face, eye socket, jaw, mandible broken, lung collapsed, pierced from the rib bone, and his liver. He also said that after the accident, he could see one of his eyes with his other eye. And they've managed to put a metal plate behind one of his eyes, or above one to reconstruct it or make it strong. And he can see out of both eyes. He had blood coming from his ears. As I say, they rebuilt his eye socket. He was awake through every moment of the pain. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I read about the injuries, Karen Davis. I know, quite staggering. I just wanted to share. I just read that, and as I went through the list of things, I thought, this guy is an actual bona fide superhero. Quite sensational. Final little story before I just wanted to sort of go over to the quiz of the week. Brazilian influencer has divided opinions because she's created a new perfume. Let me just finish the poll and see where you are at. Pretty much split down the middle. Is Nike wrong to use a trans woman to promote sports bras? Just slight majority say yes, but split down the middle. I think it is a split down the middle topic. I think the topic of her being an influencer is more important rather than a sports one. So a Brazilian influencer has created a perfume to entice men, to lure them. Smell is a very strong aphrodisiac if it's the right smell. But the key ingredient in this woman of Vanessa Moura, 29, from Brazil, the key ingredient in her scent is her sweat. What do you think of that, guys? Would you use, I mean, all sorts of dodgy, weird animal elements and biological bits have been used in scent and makeup for many years. Whale fat and all that kind of stuff. But this woman, who has over 1 million followers on Instagram, says that she's developed the fragrance to encourage sexual connections with people. She wanted this is her. I wanted a fragrance of my own with notes of my natural scent. This is like one step, well, it's not one step up. Maybe this isn't as bad as Goop, is it? Smelling of what's her face's nun. She says that my sweat, according to my ex and my current boyfriend, is sexy and exciting. I wonder if she just simply asked them, what do you think of my sweat? Or Did they say, my God, your sweat is so arousing. You should turn that into a perfume. She says, my sweat was the most important ingredient in the formula for this love and sex potion that my perfume became. Imagine that. I mean, what? Would you want to smell of someone else's sweat? After discovering the power her scent held over the opposite sex, she decided she wanted to create this fragrance for other women and awaken and instigate attention. But isn't her sweat arousing when it's on her? Whereas on someone else, you're just going to smell like you've just rubbed up against someone who's sweaty. Anyway, she's added 8 milliliters of her sweat to every bottle to make it a natural aphrodisiac. She must sit there with her arms like that on a running machine, just dripping. And I guess she'd have to develop hair. This is disgusting, and Nadia would say, stop. But I don't want to stop. Recycling, Dawn Decker. Good point, good point. She says within the perfume, in addition to the fruity notes of mandarin oranges, bergamot and pink pepper, there's the super intimate touch of my sweat. It's a mixture of passion and mystery. Smelling of onions all day. My nan was really awful. If she was going through like a, I don't know, a sort of, what's it called? A till. You know, if she was putting all her shopping through the till, so checkout, and someone smelled, she'd tell them. She said, I'm just going to tell you because no one else will. You smell of BO, love. I think you need some deodorant. I'd be like that. I'd be like, oh my God. But to be fair, when I was a young whippersnapper, she said to me, Marky, you need to sort your armpits out. You're smelling a BO. And thank God she told me, and no one else. Self-service. Do self-service, absolutely. If you smell it, it must be you. Okay, quiz of the week. Quiz of the week. Let's do it. So what I'm going to do, because I've already done it, is pop you guys over here with all your comments. And here's the quiz of the week. Get your pens and paper ready. Faith Goodman, you're going to have to do this on catch-up. MeTube, you're going to have to do this on catch-up. Christos, you're going to have to do this on catch-up. Didn't do my homework for the Friday quiz. Well, you don't. Well, yeah, you need to be paying attention to the news. So shall we kick off? Anyone who doesn't like this, obviously head off. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Lots of different content lands all the time. We try to keep this a broad church of different content. Gardening, mental health, news chat, silly chat, travel vlogs, reality nonsense. Yeah, I've got a very funny home time coming up. It could make Curtain Gate look like a sort of tame episode of home time. Movie reviews, all that kind of stuff. So, quiz of the week. Curly Cooks. The latest member of the Kennedy dynasty is going to try and become US president. He's filed paperwork to become the Democrats' nomination. His name is Robert F. Kennedy. But what relation is Robert F. Kennedy to President John F. Kennedy? The Kennedy, it's amazing, isn't it, how certain things run in families. Imagine being a president running in families. It's like the Bushes. What did your dad do as president? What did your son do? President? Head of the world? So what relationship is Robert F. Kennedy, who is hoping to get the Democratic nomination to run for president, what relationship was he to John F. Kennedy? A, half-brother, B, nephew, or C, second cousin? A, half-brother, B, nephew, or C, second cousin? Which was he? Lots of you saying cousin, second cousin. Take care, Elaine Janolfi. I love people's name tags in the group. Cloda, Dawn Decker, yes, so do I. Big bum snot rag. B, nephew, Nicola Randall. Lots of you saying it's a toss-up, isn't it? We all know he's not the half. He's nephew. It's B. It's B. Question 2. Renowned Japanese electronic music composer Ryuichi Sakamoto, fantastic soundtracks, died at the age of 71. For which film did he win an Oscar, Golden Globe, and Grammy? Was it A, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence? Was it B, The Last Emperor? Or was it C, Empire of the Sun? Which of those 3 films did Ryuichi Sakamoto, who sadly passed away at the age of 71 this week, For which film did his score win an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and a Grammy? A. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. B. The Last Emperor. Or C. Empire of the Sun. Empire of the Sun, the film that launched Christian Bale's career. If you want to see a child actor, go and check that out. Merry Christmas, Faith Goodman. Susan Fleming says that. Angela Thompson, Helen Groves, Jill Lister, Nicola Randall all saying Empire of the Sun. Zoe D saying The Last Emperor, as is Karen Davis and Locum X and Sean Thomas. The correct answer is B, The Last Emperor. Question 3. There were tributes to strategy board game creator Klaus Tuber, who also died this week at the age of 70. His best-known creation, in which players compete to colonize a fictional island, sold more than 40 million copies. But what is it called? What is the board game called that the game creator Klaus Tuber, who died this week, created? Was it A, Catan, B, Civilization, or C, Sodor? Was it A, Catan, B, Civilization, or C, Sodor? I wouldn't have known this. I had a guess and I was wrong. Good Chip Lollipop says A. Oh, Lord, lots of you saying Catan. Emma Walsh, Rebecca Lee, Cloda, Faith Goodman, A, a bit of a guess. Lots of you saying A. Jules La saying Sodor. I went for Civilization. Zoe D saying A. Sean Thomas saying A. Agatha saying Sodor. It's Catan. I've never heard of it. Settlers of Catan. Oh, yes, I saw this story. Canadian filmmaker Sarah Polley revealed that she was the victim of an April Fool's Day joke by her child, who faked a letter telling her she'd have to return her Oscar, which she won for Best Adapted Screenplay. But for which film had she won it? She did win it. And imagine your child for an April Fool saying you have to give it back. What was the film that she won the Oscar for? Was it All Quiet on the Western Front, A? Was it B, Everything Everywhere All at Once? Or was it C, Women Talking? The review is on our channel. Claire Smiley's winning. Well done. Is it A, All Quiet on the Western Front, B, Everything Everywhere All at Once, or C, Women Talking? Bailey, Women Talking. April Hill says A, Quiet All Quiet. Elaine Flew, Drew Osler saying Everything Everywhere All at Once. Quite a good guess, because that kind of won everything, didn't it, almost? Steph Schultz, Nanny Di saying C. Hi, Mum. Karen Davis saying C. Margaret Durant saying C. It is C, Women Talking. Question 5. South African pilot Rudolf Erasmus was hailed a hero after performing an emergency landing when he found which type of venomous creature in his cockpit? And we mean the cockpit. Was it A, a scorpion, B, a snake, or C, a spider? South African pilot Rudolf Erasmus hailed a hero after performing an emergency landing when he found a venomous creature in his cockpit. Was it A, a scorpion, B, a snake, or C, a spider? What was Nadia doing in a cockpit? Scorpion, that's what I mean. What have we got here? Lots of you saying B, snake. Daniel Blake Smith is saying a spider that wriggled inside her. Wasn't that story or song really chilling? Lots of you saying B. Lots of you saying B, and you're correct. It's a snake. Question 6. An hour-long recording of the Beatles, the earliest of its kind, came to light 60 years after having been recorded where? An hour-long recording had been recorded where of the Beatles? A, a boarding school. B, a press conference. Or C, the home of John Lennon's mother. Wow. An hour-long recording of the Beatles came to light 60 years after having been recorded where? A, a boarding school, B, a press conference, or C, the home of John Lennon's mother. I did terribly when I went to Ronnie Scott's years ago. Unless you went to jazz, you won't know who he is. But Art Blakey, a very famous jazz drummer, went to see him. I took my Walkman, my audio Walkman in and recorded his gig from the back of Ronnie Scott's, having gone to the Latino club upstairs to dance and sneaking down where the waiters went up and down the stairs. We snuck in, and then I got a bootleg copy of Art Blakey. Nanny Dice says A, a boarding school. Angela Thompson says A. Cloda, Julie Everts, Alison Fisher all saying the home of Lennon's mother. It's a toss-up, I think, but a press conference would be quite a boring answer, wouldn't it? What are you saying? It's A, a boarding school. There we go. How's everyone doing? The live chat seems to have halted. Okay, this is quite final question, but who's on 6? I like to know who's on 6. I like to know who's on the cusp of victory, because as we know, it's not the taking part that matters, it's the winning. Jill Lister, I'm going to Ronnie Scott's for the first time. Fantastic. It's very atmospheric, although it's changed from my days. I mean, unfortunately, it's one of those places that benefits from smoking, and you obviously can't smoke. And they're very strict about talking. I remember seeing, or hearing, I don't know if it was the gig that I saw, I did see Nina Simone there towards the end of her life. And she kind of stopped the entire set because someone was talking at a table. You know, the hubbub of a jazz bar. Let's have a look. Any 6s here? Only 3, but having fun, Faith. That's good. Can't see any 6s. A few 5s. 2, I'm brain dead, says Angela Thompson. Final question. A restaurant in Senboku City, Japan, made headlines for selling which of the following in a vending machine? Was it A, bear cuts of bear? Was it B, canned snails? Or was it C, whale meat? Oh, I'm wondering if bear cuts are like sort of biltong or jerky, but of bear. Was it A, bear cuts of bear? Was it B, canned snails, or was it C, whale meat? I kind of hope of all 3 of those it was canned snails. Locum X, Sai, bear meat. Rebecca Lee, A, bear meat. Faith Goodman, whale meat, but hope not. Gloria Chesham, Steph Schultz, Nanny Dye, all saying A. Angela Thompson saying whale meat. Alison Fisher saying bear. Tragically, it's bear. From bears hunted in the nearby mountains. It sells 10 to 15 packs a week. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Terrible. Okay, guys. Oh, it's the first fly of summer. Well, there you go, guys. I hope you did well. Maybe some of you got 6. I don't think anyone got 7 today, but congratulations. As I say, there'll be all sorts of weird content landing over the weekend. I hope you have a lovely Good Friday. Try and relax if you can. Don't eat too many Easter eggs. And, you know, just enjoy the sun. I'm not, because I hate the sun. But there you go. Oh, look, someone got 6. Who was that? Oh, it's flown up. Good Chip Lollipop. Congratulations. Have a lovely day, guys, and we will see you somewhere